Here's my audience. And I have one on FaceTime. Okay guys, I'm going to be talking about Mort Utley. I learned about him in my sales school experience at Nashville, Tennessee. It's through Southwestern Advantage. And one of his most famous stories was about two twin boys with a pony. And so parents had two twin boys. They're both 6 years old. One was the world's optimist and one was a pessimist. And they were so extreme that the parents had to take them to a psychologist. And the psychologist said, I have a test for him. I'm going to put one in a room full of toys that any kid could ever imagine. And that's where the pessimists went. And they left him in, closed him in for 20 minutes. And then they took the other optimists through a room blank full of horse manure. And they closed the door. And they came back. And they went to the pessimist room. They opened up the door. And in there, the boy was just sitting on the ground with his arms folded. And they asked, like, why didn't you play with that rocking chair over there? He's like, I was afraid to fall off that rocking horse. And then it's like, why didn't you try on those rollerblades? And he's like, I was afraid to skin my knees. And every toy they went through, he was just not happy with it. And so they opened up the door to the optimist room with the horse manure. And he was covered here to here, full of horse manure, slinging it everywhere and everything like that. And the psychologist asked, like, why? What in the world are you doing? And the kid replied, with all this horse manure, there's got to be a pony in there. So he told that story to tell us that through sales school and through anything that we're going to go through in the internship, you're going to go through a lot of horse manure. And through any challenge you have in life, you're going to be going through horse manure to get to your goals. I chose Mort Utley for this speech. His words were the most powerful and the most positive I've ever heard in my life. And as well as he's been speaking through Southwestern for over 55 years. Even though that he's passed away, his speeches are still recorded and watched. Throughout this speech, I'll talk about Mort Utley and the history of Southwestern, and as well as his keynote speech. Here's a little background information. I took this internship through sales school my freshman year, after my freshman year, and went to Cincinnati, Ohio, but before that I went to Nashville, Tennessee for sales school. And for 1 week I had to listen to one of the greatest speakers I've ever heard to in the whole week. And Mort Utley was asked by Fred Landers in 1956 to speak at Southwestern Advantage Sales School. It proved to be the first as a reputation for 35 years. He spoke more than 1,000 speeches at Southwestern Advantage, and he talks about how to get students more out of their summer. He has 50 years of speaking professionally, more than 9,000 speeches all over the world, and he's earned the CPAE designation for National Speakers Association, the highest honor a professional speaker can achieve. He has accomplished more things than I can begin to list, and I would like to share a little bit of his keynote address. The first thing he started with his keynote speech was to think big. If you ever think about sales or anything you want in life, you don't think about something small. You think big. You think medical school. You think lawyer. You think billionaire. You think big and big. The world is your oasis, and that's what you need to do. And he as well told us to set goals. You can't achieve anything without setting a goal, setting small goals, little by little, week by week. And through these goals, you can accomplish anything. One of the stories that he went through for setting goals is if you had an elephant and I told you to eat it, you'd be like, I can't eat this elephant. But if I brought you a plate every day and you didn't know what it was, but I told you to eat it and you ate it little by little by little, and then at the end you're like, what was that? I was like, that was an elephant. You ate an elephant. So set your goals, you make them, don't eat an elephant. The third thing he told us through this keynote speech was to have a positive mental attitude. Think yes, not no. And through this internship, you're going to get a lot of no's. I got a lot of doors slammed in my face, a lot of not so nice words from some moms, but for every no, I got closer to a yes, and I got closer to things that I never thought was possible. And I ended up making $1,000 in a week with this internship. And he told a story about how for every no I get, the 3 no's, I'll get a yes. And he would tell every customer to thank them for that no. He would get a yes after that. More Utley's speeches and words were the most powerful and motivating I've ever heard. His message promoted the betterment of all Southwestern Advantage students to think positive, and we can accomplish anything we put our minds to. Throughout my speech, you learned about More Utley's keynote speech, with his funny stories about twin boys eating an elephant. You as well learned about accomplishments in Southwestern Advantage Sales School. There's a poem he read within his keynote that I'd like to share with you guys. Dear God, this is the beginning of a new day. You have given this day to use as I will. I want this day to be good, not evil. Success, not failure. I want it to be right, not wrong, in order that I will not regret the price that I paid for it. Can you imagine if the whole world felt that way about time?